Okay, so I created Courage to Shine back in 2009. It was after a conference that was held in Pittsburgh. And I needed to create something that would involve a lot of the people. And same thing with the youth rally, and same thing with these people. We had many adults who are doing many amazing things. So I create a website. You think it's up now? Nope, it's not up. But it's courage to shine shine-2-shine.org. The 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 reason I created this was to show good role models and be able to show great people. I gave the first award in Australia to a guy named Tom Flood. Tom Flood was an 80-year-old individual, and he was amazing. And he did so much things in Australia that they created they actually gave him the Australian award to him and the secretary of the governor's secretary wrote me and wanted me to recommend him for that award. That's when I knew I had something. This year, the award is going to go to an outstanding gentleman who has the courage, the adversity, the businessman. He's also a husband and a father of 4. So we're making this real short here. So George Hunt, where is George? George. And when he comes up here, he's going to tell the rest of his story, and it's going to be very interesting.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Tom. Can I close this? Am I gonna mess anything up if I close this? No? Okay, I'm gonna put this down, sorry. Tom Exler is an amazing person, human being, and just has become a very, very good friend of mine as I start this transitional process into whatever this is going to be and trying to give back to the bladder exstrophy community. And I know he doesn't like praise and he doesn't like the acclamations, but he is behind the scenes really pushing a lot of good things that go on in our community. And I want to thank him tremendously for this honor. Thank you, Tom. I also would like to thank Pam and the ABC community for developing a platform to celebrate the spirit of this award. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to come up here and I wanted to talk to you from the heart, and I didn't want presentations, I didn't want slides, I didn't want any distractions. I wanted to show you what living with bladder exstrophy meant to me and how I overcame adversity. And it really set me up not only to succeed, but also, bladder exstrophy has allowed me to be a part of something great. And you've heard it here today. Bladder exstrophy is really a catalyst and has helped me form a sense of pride and a sense of direction and a sense of worth that I normally would not have had if I didn't have this birth defect. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what courage is, what it means to me, and then a brief story about how I overcame probably one of the biggest issues in my life, and then how it led me to where I am today. In my eyes, this recognition really isn't just for me. It is for everyone living with BE that has dealt with or currently is battling through adversity. Courage isn't simply a systematic approach of heroic acts. To me, courage is deeply personal. Courage means asking for help when you need it. It's not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite of it. Courage is honesty and a deep, deep connection to vulnerability. Facing discomfort with purpose. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. I was 17 years old and I was living the time of my life. I was born in Altus, Oklahoma in 1977 to two 20-year-old kids. They loved me so much. And they were lost. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to save me. And they were scared. The best thing that the doctors could do for me at that point in time was actually just to get me to the next day, the next week, the next month. I was given my last rites 3 times in 1 week. The doctor said I wouldn't make it, I wouldn't walk, I wouldn't crawl, I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't thrive. And then my father finally stopped listening to the doctors. By the grace of God, we found the Cleveland Clinic, and Dr. Robert K. was my savior. Like many of you, your doctors have an intimate voice. They're part of your family, and you trust them and love them with all your heart. That was similar to me. Whatever Dr. K said, I did, and I was grateful for him. I wore a diaper until I was 12 years old. And I wanted to play sports, and I knew I wanted to be a father. And I shared that with my doctor. And he told me, Georgie, you're going to be a father one day, and you're going to play sports, and you're going to have a family, and you're going to do great things in this world. I can't wait for it. He did a diversion. My ureters were connected to my bowel. So that meant everything went out my backside. That means everything. It was good because it allowed me to do what I wanted to do as a kid, and it allowed me to thrive, but at times there were blowouts. And at this time, when I entered the hospital and I talked to my doctor for the very last surgery, he said, we needed to do another surgery. One last surgery, Georgie. Do you got it in you? Do you have it in you for one last surgery? I didn't. Everything was going well. I was on the varsity wrestling team. I just received a full scholarship to Cleveland State University for music. I had a smoking hot wife that I loved to parade around. I'm sorry. I spoiled it. She was a girlfriend. I wasn't ready. It wasn't broken. Why fix it? And what I didn't know was that I was susceptible to colon cancer. And my doctor loved me so much, he just couldn't bear the sight of that possibly happening, not on his watch. But what was even worse is that he was getting older and I was getting bigger, and that he would not be able to stand through the surgery. So another doctor who I didn't even know was going to perform the most important surgery of my life. And I was scared. I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. But Dr. K assured me everything was going to be fine and that he was going to be there every step of the way. Dr. Jonathan Ross was amazing. He was young, he was good looking. And although he didn't have the bedside manner Dr. Robert Kay had, what he did have was confidence. And he knew how to explain things to me where I understood it. And so then I said, okay, let's go for it. So the surgery was scheduled for Christmas, 1994, only because that's when we were out of school, right? And I was a wrestler and I wanted to wrestle my last meets and I wanted to get in there and I wanted to finish the season and then we'll go in and we'll do what we needed to do. So we did just that. And as I got out of surgery in the recovery room, it was so difficult for me always. I always had a tough time getting out of anesthesia. I was always intubated and I always had a breathing tube. But this surgery was different. This surgery was longer. This surgery had a lot of different things, components to it. Essentially, what they did is they created a pouch out of various different organs, which will allow me to cath myself 3 to 4 times a day and essentially be dry, be free, and live the life I wanted to live. But I didn't see it that way. I had 6 drainage tubes coming out of my belly. I had a scar that started from the bottom of my sternum and went down all the way to my pubic bone. I had a hole in the left side of my belly. I had an epidural, which is mostly given to pregnant women, but I know what that feels like now, which allowed me to receive morphine every 4 to 6 hours. I pressed that button so hard for 3 straight weeks that I ran through it 3 or 4 times. They had to change the button now. I was in so much pain. It was Christmas time, so everybody was happy. Now I was miserable. Everybody came to me, showering me with gifts, trying to get me to understand that everything was going to be okay, and I just didn't listen. My girlfriend came to see me. She brought her mom and dad. She was holding my hand at my bedside, and I didn't even open up my eyes when I told her to leave. And I said I never wanted to see her again. There is a man out there better than me that could love her the way she needs to be loved. And I couldn't bear the thought of her not receiving that kind of love. So I broke up with her in front of my father and in front of her parents. And I was in the biggest state of depression that I ever witnessed or experienced today. I wasn't thriving, I wasn't eating, and I was down to 77 pounds, and the nurses just couldn't understand what was going on. And all the while there, as he always had been, my father in the corner of the room, just sitting and waiting. That morning, when he came to me, I remember the elevator bell ringing and the doors opening and him coming into my room. He unplugged all the bells and whistles that I was tethered to, knew exactly what to do and how to do it as the nurse stood in the doorway, knowing what was happening, but there for assistance just in case he needed it. He picked up his 77-pound son and he put him in the wheelchair and he didn't say a word. And I was so mad at him. I didn't want to do this anymore. I gave up. I didn't want to hurt. I was in so much pain. I was so ashamed. My father wheeled me down to the bathroom where it was bigger there, had a bigger stall, had a big mirror, wheelchair accessibility. And he lathered shaving cream on my adult face, adolescent face. And he positioned my head so that I can see his face in the mirror. And with one stroke of the razor, began to shave my left side of my face. And then I saw him begin to cry. And it was that point I knew he knew. And he said to me, we have come too far to give up now. To come to my own self-pity. Sorry for myself. I finally recognized that this fight wasn't fought alone. I gave up, but my father never did. I chose that day growth over comfort. I began to thrive. I got out of that hospital. And you know where I'm going with this. The first thing I did was call that girlfriend. And I made her my wife. Next week, we celebrate 25 years of marriage. I have 4 beautiful children that are our world. I've had many, many, many successes. My professional career has really turned off. I put myself through college, received 2 degrees, have an MBA in business because music just didn't pay the bills. I didn't want to eat macaroni and cheese for the rest of my life. And together with my wife, we not only have thrived, but we have built an empire of family, of community that I am so very proud of today. I want to tell the parents in the audience today that you are a big part of your child's life. You are going to be the catalysts for them. You are the reason why they continue to grow, they continue to thrive. Yes, the doctors are amazing, but at the end of the day, what matters most is love. And what they do first before anything else is they turn and they look to you. And if you don't look scared, they won't be scared. The challenge you're going to have to face is you're going to have to find that individual, that certain someone that you're going to be able to be vulnerable with, because you need that release too. No matter how you feel, dress up, show up, and never get up. Our scars tell a story. They remind us when life tried to break us but failed. Don't ever let fear prevent you from achieving great things. Whether emotional, physical, or social, be willing to feel hard things. because the cause or value is certainly worth it. You're allowed to be disappointed. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to cry, but you're not allowed to give up. And with that, our journey just begins. I want to thank the ABC community. I want to thank Pam. I want to thank Tom, and I want to thank all of you. I look forward to working with you, listening to you, and being your friend. God bless you, and thank you again for this tremendous opportunity.